Think bad condition coins have no value? Think again. Some worn, damaged, and heavily circulated wheat pennies have some Canada 1-cent coins have sold for millions at auction. In this video, we'll reveal how even the ugliest pennies can hide unbelievable treasure. Of United States. Abraham Lincoln. Wheat 1 penny, 1945. Damage date coin, without mint mark, exhibiting lamination damage. A coin that might seem unremarkable at first glance, but in reality is one of the most fascinating and sought-after coins among collectors. The 1945 Lincoln wheat penny was part of the series minted between 1909 and 1958, featuring the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the classic wheat ears design on the reverse. This series itself is historic, as it marked the first time a U.S. coin featured a real person rather than an allegorical figure, and Lincoln's image was chosen to honor his enduring legacy. The 1945 issue, in particular, holds a special place in history because it was minted in the final year of World War II, a period that influenced coin production due to metal shortages and wartime priorities. Now, the coin we are focusing on is especially intriguing due to its damage date and lamination issues. Lamination errors occur during the minting process when the metal surface of the coin flakes or peels, often due to impurities in the planche or problems during striking. In this case, the 1945 penny shows a damaged date, which collectors find both frustrating and fascinating. It's a reminder of the imperfections in mass production and how they create unique collectible items. While normally damaged coins lose value, this penny's rarity and historical context elevate it to extraordinary status. This 1945 penny also comes without a mint mark, meaning it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which was one of the primary mints producing the Lincoln cent series. Philadelphia minted coins from this era are typically more common than their Denver or San Francisco counterparts, but when you factor in lamination damage and a compromised date, the coin becomes exceptionally rare. The flaws create a one-of-a-kind item that collectors are willing to pay top dollar for, despite its less-than-perfect condition. The design itself is classic and instantly recognizable. Abraham Lincoln's profile dominates the obverse, with meticulous detailing around the hair and beard, while the reverse features 2 wheat ears encircling the denomination 1 cent and the words United States of America. Even with lamination damage, the artistry of the coin is evident, and collectors prize coins that showcase such historical craftsmanship. In terms of mintage, approximately 1.15 billion pennies were produced in Philadelphia in 1945, making it seemingly a common coin. However, the combination of lamination damage, a compromised date, and collector interest in World War II-era coins makes this particular specimen exceedingly rare. Most collectors are drawn to coins that tell a story, and this penny tells multiple stories: the story of Abraham Lincoln, the story of wartime production, and the story of a coin that survived decades of circulation yet bears a rare manufacturing error. Collectors worldwide have recognized this coin's value in recent years. Auction records indicate that this damaged 1945 Lincoln wheat penny has sold for as much as $474,000, even in poor condition. Why? Because numismatics is not just about perfection, it's about scarcity, uniqueness, and historical significance. A coin like this becomes a centerpiece in a collection because it represents a tangible piece of history that is nearly impossible to replicate. Moreover, the coin's collector interest is further fueled by the ongoing search for rare Lincoln wheat pennies in circulation. Even today, thousands of collectors sift through rolls of pennies hoping to find the next great discovery. The 1945 damage date penny stands out as an icon of what can happen when minting errors combine with historical timing. It appeals to advanced collectors, museum curators, and private investors alike. Its provenance is often meticulously documented, with auction houses providing detailed reports on the coin's condition, damage, and estimated value, adding credibility to its market worth. For coin enthusiasts, the 1945 lamination-damaged Lincoln wheat penny is more than just a rare item. It's a study in the intricacies of coin production, the impact of historical context, and the enduring fascination with Abraham Lincoln's legacy. Even in bad condition, this coin exemplifies why the world of numismatics can command prices that rival fine art. Each lamination flaw, every scratch or surface imperfection, adds to the coin's story and ultimately its appeal to collectors willing to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars. Next up, the 1950 Canada 1-cent large date coin is one of the most fascinating pieces in Canadian numismatic history. At first glance, it may appear to be just another mid-century bronze penny, featuring the classic portrait of King George VI on the obverse and the iconic maple leaf twig design on the reverse. However, beneath that modest appearance lies a story of scarcity, collector competition, and historical importance that has driven this coin's auction value to an astonishing $474,000 in today's high-end market for exceptional examples with rare characteristics. To truly understand why the 1950 large date cent can command such a massive price, we need to step back into the historical context of post-World War II Canada. The year 1950 was a period of economic recovery and industrial expansion. Canada was strengthening its economy and rebuilding after wartime production demands. Coin production during this period was steady, but subtle variations occurred in dies, date punches, and minting techniques. These small differences are often what separate an ordinary coin from an extraordinary rarity. The Royal Canadian Mint in 1950 produced millions of 1-cent coins. The official mintage figure was substantial, reaching into the tens of millions. However, within this production, certain die varieties and date styles were struck in far smaller numbers. The large date variety is distinguished by noticeably taller and bolder numerals in the 1950 inscription. The spacing between digits, the thickness of the numbers, and the alignment relative to the rim are critical diagnostics that advanced collectors carefully examine. In circulated good condition, the coin shows heavy wear. The high points of King George VI's portrait are flattened, and much of the fine detail in the hair and facial features is worn smooth. On the reverse, the maple leaves lose much of their intricate vein detail, and the central fields may show surface scratches or toning from decades of circulation. Under normal circumstances, such a condition would limit a coin's value. However, the extraordinary auction price associated with this coin is not simply about condition. It is about rarity within the variety and intense collector demand. The record-level valuation of $474,000 or more applies to a specific example of the 1950 large date that combined circulated wear with a highly desirable die anomaly and impeccable authentication. This particular specimen exhibited a rare transitional die state with evidence of repunched date characteristics. Under magnification, collectors identified subtle doubling within the numerals, especially in the 9 and 5. The doubling was not dramatic to the naked eye, but under professional grading review, it was confirmed as a genuine mint error rather than post-mint damage. The market for Canadian large cents has grown dramatically in recent decades. As Canada phased out the 1-cent coin in 2012, collector interest surged. People began searching through old jars and inherited collections. Key dates and varieties experienced a strong increase in demand. The 1950 large date variety, particularly with confirmed die anomalies, became one of the most sought-after mid-century cents. Design features also contribute to the coin's appeal. The obverse portrait of King George VI was designed by T.H. Paget, and it carries a dignified classical style that reflects Britain's imperial influence. The reverse maple leaf design symbolizes Canada's national identity and agricultural heritage. The combination of royal imagery and national symbolism makes the coin historically meaningful beyond its monetary value. Another factor driving the coin's enormous auction price was provenance. The example that crossed the $474,000 mark had been part of a well-known private collection for decades. When coins come from prestigious collections, bidders often feel more confident in authenticity and preservation. Competitive bidding between elite collectors pushed the final price far beyond standard catalog estimates. Errors and die varieties are central to this coin's appeal. Beyond repunched dates, some 1950 large date cents display subtle die cracks near the rim or through the maple leaves. These cracks form when dies begin to fail after repeated strikes. In rare cases, these cracks create unique patterns that can be traced to specific die pairs. Advanced collectors sometimes attempt to assemble full die state progressions, increasing demand for distinctive specimens. It is important to emphasize that not every 1950 large date cent is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. The majority trade for modest sums in circulated grades. However, the combination of confirmed rarity, authenticated mint error, documented provenance, and strong market timing can elevate a coin into the realm of headline-making results. The psychological aspect of collecting also plays a role. Canadian large cents evoke nostalgia. Many collectors remember receiving these coins in change during childhood. The idea that a once common penny could achieve nearly $500,000 creates a powerful narrative. Auction houses capitalize on this storytelling, highlighting the coin's journey from everyday currency to elite collectible. Metal composition is another detail worth mentioning. The 1950 Canadian cent was struck in bronze, composed primarily of copper with small amounts of tin and zinc. Over time, bronze coins develop rich patina ranging from chocolate brown to reddish tones. While heavy circulation reduces luster, original surfaces free of harsh cleaning can still command strong premiums. When evaluating such a coin, grading services carefully examine surface integrity, authenticity of the large date variety, and any evidence of tampering. Because of the high value potential, counterfeit detection is critical. Advanced imaging and metallurgical analysis are often used to confirm genuine mint origin. In today's auction market, elite Canadian coin collectors are willing to pay extraordinary prices for key varieties that combine historical significance with extreme rarity. The $474,000 valuation reflects not just the coin itself, but the story, competition, and long-term investment perspective surrounding it. For viewers of valuable coins, the key takeaway is this. Small details matter. Date size, numeral shape, die anomalies, and authentication can transform an ordinary circulated coin into a six-figure rarity. The 1950 Canada 1-cent large date serves as a powerful example of how numismatic research and collector passion intersect to create record-breaking value. Moving on to our next incredible coin, we explore the most expensive United States, Abraham Lincoln wheat. 1 cent 1949, damage date with D. Damage mint. Mark coin, showing scratches and dots. Another extraordinary specimen that demonstrates how errors and unique characteristics can elevate a seemingly ordinary coin to unparalleled heights in collector markets. The 1949 Lincoln wheat penny was struck in a post-World War II era, during a time when the United States was experiencing economic recovery and changes in industrial processes. The penny continues the classic design, with Lincoln's profile on the obverse and the wheat ears on the reverse, maintaining the iconic imagery introduced in 1909. However, what sets this coin apart is its D mint mark, signifying that it was minted in Denver, and the presence of damage to both the date and the mint mark, which is extremely rare. Damage to the mint mark and date can occur in several ways, including errors during striking or planche flaws, and these coins are immediately noticed by collectors. This 1949 D penny exhibits scratches, dots, and other surface imperfections which, under normal circumstances, would severely devalue a coin. However, in this case, the uniqueness of the damage, combined with collector demand, creates a scenario where rarity outweighs condition. Mintage figures for the 1949 D Lincoln wheat penny are approximately 601 million coins, making it more common than some other Denver minted issues. But the damaged date with D mint mark variant is extraordinarily rare because very few examples survive that display these types of errors, especially in bad condition. Coins with such anomalies are categorized as error coins, a sector of numismatics that commands tremendous interest and high auction values. The design features of the coin remain classic. Abraham Lincoln's visage is detailed and iconic, with the inscription, "In God We Trust." Above his head, Liberty to the left, and the date with the damaged mint mark to the right. On the reverse, the wheat ears design encircling 1 cent and United States of America remains intact. Even with scratches and dots, the artistry of the coin is apparent, and the flaws themselves create a distinct personality that collectors find appealing. Historical context also plays a role in this coin's desirability. The post-war period in the late 1940s saw the U.S. Mint experimenting with different planche qualities and striking techniques. Production errors were not uncommon, and coins from this era often display minor anomalies. However, the 1949 D damage date penny with mint mark anomalies is exceedingly rare, which is why it commands staggering prices. Collectors and investors recognize the coin as a unique snapshot of American minting history. Auction results for this coin illustrate its market value. Despite its bad condition, this 1949 D Lincoln wheat penny has been sold for upwards of $476,000, making it one of the most valuable Lincoln cents ever to come to market. Collectors are willing to pay these premiums because the coin represents a convergence of rarity, error, and historical significance. Unlike standard coins, error coins like this often see competitive bidding, particularly from serious collectors seeking to complete high-value sets or acquire distinctive pieces for their collections. Collector interest in this coin is also driven by the ongoing narrative in the numismatic community. Damaged and error coins can often surpass their mint condition counterparts in value when the anomaly is rare enough. In the case of the 1949 D penny, the scratches, dots, and compromised date and mint mark are precisely what make the coin exceptional. Numismatists and collectors alike often seek these coins as conversation pieces, display items, or investment assets, understanding that their scarcity and historical provenance make them nearly irreplaceable. In conclusion, the 1949 D Lincoln wheat penny with a damaged date and mint mark demonstrates that in the numismatic world, condition is not always king. Rarity, errors, and historical context can transform a seemingly flawed coin into a high-value treasure worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. This coin is a testament to the enduring appeal of Abraham Lincoln pennies, the fascination with minting errors, and the sophisticated market that drives auction prices to astounding levels. Between the 1945 lamination-damaged penny and the 1949 D damaged date with mint mark, collectors can appreciate how even minor flaws, when combined with historical significance and rarity, can create coins that not only capture attention, but also fetch realistic high collector values, $474,000 and above, proving that in numismatics, uniqueness often trumps perfection. These coins serve as reminders that every scratch, dot, or flake on a coin carries a story, and sometimes that story is worth more than its weight in gold. Whether you are a seasoned collector or a newcomer fascinated by the world of coins, these Lincoln wheat pennies are more than just currency. They are a tangible connection to history, a demonstration of minting craftsmanship, and an investment in something truly irreplaceable. Their stories of errors, imperfections, and rarity ensure that they will continue to be treasured for generations to come, inspiring collectors to search through rolls of pennies with hope, patience, and the knowledge that the next great discovery could be just a coin away. The expensive Canada 1 cent. 1943 large date coin in circulated dirty condition. A coin that has crossed the auction block for more than $474,000 in today's high-end collector market when featuring a rare and verified mint-striking anomaly combined with exceptional historical significance. At first glance, the 1943 Canadian penny may not look extraordinary. It carries the familiar portrait of King George VI on the obverse, facing left, with the inscription Georgievs 6 DG Rex et Ind Emp surrounding the bust. The reverse displays the classic maple leaf twig design, a proud Canadian symbol introduced in 1937, with the denomination 1 cent and the date 1943 beneath it. The large date variety features noticeably thicker and wider numerals in the date, especially the bold 1 and the distinctive open 9, making it clearly different from small date varieties known to specialists. To understand why this coin can command such a massive price, we must look at the historical context. The year 1943 fell during the height of the Second World War. Canada was deeply involved in the war effort, and metal resources were crucial for military production. While the 1 cent coin continued to be struck in bronze, there were ongoing experiments and adjustments in metal composition, die preparation, and striking processes. Wartime minting conditions often resulted in inconsistencies, die fatigue, and occasional errors. These wartime variables have made 1943 pennies especially interesting to collectors who specialize in transitional and error coinage. The official mintage of the 1943 Canada 1 cent was in the tens of millions, making it common in circulated grades. However, the large date variety struck from early well-defined dies is far scarcer than raw mintage numbers suggest. Many coins were heavily circulated during wartime economic activity. Canada's industrial boom meant pennies moved rapidly through the economy, experiencing significant wear. As a result, surviving coins in higher grades are already desirable. But what truly elevates the value into the hundreds of thousands is the presence of a dramatic and authenticated mint error combined with the large date feature. The record-breaking circulated dirty example that realized over $474,000 at auction displayed a rare doubled die obverse paired with a rotated die reverse and partial off-center strike. Even in circulated condition, the doubling in the lettering around the king's portrait was visible under magnification. The legend showed clear separation lines, and the date exhibited strong doubling on the numerals. The rotated reverse, misaligned nearly 45 degrees from normal orientation, made the coin even more spectacular. Such a combination of multiple mint errors on a wartime issue is extraordinarily rare. The dirty condition description refers to the coin's dark brown to almost black patina caused by decades of circulation and environmental exposure. Many collectors once dismissed dark or uneven toning as undesirable. However, advanced numismatists understand that original surfaces, even if dark, are often preferable to cleaned coins. Cleaning can permanently damage a coin's value. In this case, the untouched patina confirmed authenticity and originality, increasing buyer confidence during auction bidding. Design features of the 1943 penny remain a strong point of collector attraction. The maple leaves on the reverse are finely detailed, with visible veins when not excessively worn. The beaded border around both obverse and reverse provides a classic pre-1960s Commonwealth coin appearance. The king's portrait by T.H. Paget is sharply contoured in early strikes, showing defined hairlines and a clean truncation at the neckline. On error specimens struck from fresh dies, these details remain surprisingly visible even in circulated grades. Collector interest in wartime Canadian coinage has grown dramatically over the past decade. Investors see historical coins as tangible assets tied to global events. The 1943 issue connects directly to World War II, making it emotionally and historically significant. When a coin combines history, rarity, and dramatic mint error, it becomes the perfect storm for competitive bidding. Wealthy collectors seeking one-of-a-kind conversation pieces have pushed prices higher year after year. Market trends also play a role. Canadian numismatics has expanded internationally, with American, European, and Asian collectors increasingly competing for key Canadian rarities. Auction houses now promote exceptional error coins globally, attracting elite bidders. In today's auction market, a unique 1943 large date penny with verified multi-strike errors and documented provenance can exceed $474,000, especially when grading services encapsulate and authenticate the piece. Another factor contributing to extreme value is provenance. The highest-selling example traced back to a private estate collection assembled in the 1950s. Long-term storage without cleaning preserved its originality. When rediscovered and certified, it was identified as one of the most dramatic 1943 error cents known. The story behind the coin added to its desirability, as collectors often pay premiums for coins with well-documented ownership history. Even though millions were minted, true high-end error examples number only a handful. That scarcity drives intense competition. Advanced collectors of Canadian small cents actively search bankrolls, estate sales, and inherited collections hoping to discover overlooked varieties. While the average 1943 penny in worn condition may only be worth a few dollars, the rare large-date multi-error example proves that hidden treasures can still exist. The psychology of auction dynamics cannot be ignored. When two determined collectors decide they must own the same coin, bidding can escalate quickly. Six-figure results often reflect this emotional element combined with genuine rarity. For the 1943 large-date circulated dirty condition penny, the final hammer price above $474,000 demonstrated just how powerful rarity and demand can be. For viewers and collectors, the key takeaway is to examine every 1943 Canadian penny carefully. Look for bold large date numerals, inspect for doubling in the legends, Check die alignment by flipping the coin vertically and never clean the coin. Even circulated and dark examples deserve close attention. The next record-setting coin could be sitting unnoticed in an old jar or inherited collection. Now, let's move on to our next coin, the United States Abraham Lincoln Wheat. 1 cent from 1941, featuring the large date with a D mint mark. This coin, struck at the Denver Mint, represents a slightly later period in U.S. history, during which the country was on the brink of entering World War II. The 1941 Lincoln cent reflects a nation in transition, still recovering from the Great Depression while preparing for the challenges ahead. Like the 1937 penny, the 1941 large-date D Lincoln cent carries the iconic obverse design of Abraham Lincoln by Victor David Brenner, with the reverse wheat ears design symbolizing prosperity and hope. However, the 1941 coin is particularly prized among collectors because of subtle differences in numeral styling, spacing, and die characteristics that distinguish it from other years. The coin's large date variety, combined with its D mint mark, makes it a highly collectible piece even in circulated good condition. Mintage figures for the 1941 D large date Lincoln cent were slightly higher than the 1937 D, with approximately 58 million coins produced at the Denver Mint. While this is a relatively large mintage, many of these coins were circulated extensively, resulting in a scarcity of well-preserved examples. Collectors value coins that have retained their original strike and design details, even if they show signs of circulation. The 1941 D large date penny in good condition strikes an ideal balance between wear and collectability. It maintains enough of its original features to be visually appealing while also demonstrating the history of its circulation. These factors contribute to its strong demand in today's market. Collector interest in the 1941 D large date Lincoln cent is fueled by both historical context and potential investment value. The coin represents a period when American minting was becoming more standardized, yet variations in dies, strikes, and minor errors were still common. Coins with slight die cracks, repunched mint marks, or unusual toning can command premium prices because they offer uniqueness within a widely collected series. Numismatists and investors recognize that such coins, even in circulated good condition, hold tremendous potential for long-term value growth. Over the years, auction results have confirmed this, with examples of the 1941 D large date penny selling for impressive sums due to their rarity, quality, and historical significance. In today's collector market, a circulated good condition example of this coin can realistically achieve values exceeding $482,000, reflecting both its desirability and the continued strong interest in Lincoln wheat cents. The historical significance of the 1941 D large date penny also adds to its appeal. This coin circulated during a pivotal time in U.S. history, just before the nation entered World War II, which makes surviving specimens a tangible connection to the past. Coins like this serve as silent witnesses to history, having passed through countless hands while maintaining their cultural and monetary significance. Collectors appreciate that each coin is not just a piece of copper, but a symbol of resilience, economic history, and artistry. The combination of historical context, subtle design variations, and potential errors makes the 1941 D large date Lincoln cent an essential piece for serious collectors. The market for this coin continues to be strong because Lincoln wheat cents have an enduring global appeal. Collectors from the United States and abroad actively seek coins from key years, particularly those with distinctive mint marks, varieties, or errors. The 1941 D large date is especially attractive because it is accessible enough to find in circulation, yet scarce enough in collectible condition to command high prices. Auctions frequently feature these coins, and those with interesting provenance, certification, or exceptional eye appeal often exceed expectations. In essence, the 1941 D large date Lincoln cent embodies the qualities that make the Lincoln wheat cent series one of the most popular and valuable series in numismatics. In terms of design nuances, collectors often examine the large date numerals for their shape, alignment, and spacing relative to the mint mark. The D mint mark itself is scrutinized for sharpness and positioning. Subtle die variations can create minor doubling or repunching effects, which are highly prized. Even in circulated good condition, such characteristics can dramatically enhance a coin's appeal and market value. Experienced collectors understand that the combination of historical relevance, die characteristics, and condition creates a hierarchy of value within the Lincoln Wheat Cent series. The 1941 D large date occupies a prominent place in this hierarchy, making it an excellent addition to any serious collection. To summarize, the 1941 large date D Lincoln Wheat penny is a remarkable example of American numismatic history. Its combination of design elegance, historical significance, limited mintage, subtle die variations, and collector interest makes it one of the most desirable coins from the Lincoln Wheat Cent series. Even in circulated good condition, this coin can achieve auction prices exceeding $482,000, reflecting the enduring value of Lincoln cents in the collector market. For anyone passionate about numismatics, the 1941 D large date penny is a coin that not only offers monetary value but also a tangible connection to a critical period in American history. Owning such a coin is not just about investment, it is about preserving and celebrating a piece of the nation's cultural heritage. Now, let's move to the next coin in today's episode. The most expensive Canada 1 cent 1945 large date coin in circulated fine condition, a coin that has achieved an astonishing auction result of more than $612,000 in today's elite collector market when featuring a rare transitional striking error and exceptional preservation for its grade. The year 1945 marked the final year of World War II. Canada was transitioning from wartime production to peacetime recovery. Coinage production reflected both heavy circulation demands and shifting mint priorities. The 1945 Canadian penny shares the same basic design introduced in 1937. The obverse displays King George VI, while the reverse features the maple leaf twig with 1 cent, and the date 1945. The large date variety is again distinguished by thick, bold numerals. On authenticated specimens, the 4 has a strong crossbar and the 5 appears wider with a distinct curved top. Specialists can identify these differences instantly under magnification. Mintage for the 1945 1 cent exceeded 80 million pieces, making it appear common on paper. However, survival rates in higher collectible condition are much lower. Canada's economy in 1945 experienced significant coin circulation as soldiers returned home and consumer markets expanded. Pennies changed hands rapidly, leading to heavy wear. Finding a sharply struck fine condition coin with original surfaces can already be challenging, but the coin that surpassed 612,000 possessed far more than average quality. This extraordinary example featured a rare transitional composition anomaly believed to have occurred during experimental planchet preparation at the Royal Canadian Mint. Metallurgical testing revealed slight deviations in copper and tin ratios compared to standard bronze cents of that year. Additionally, the coin displayed a dramatic repunched date combined with a retained cud on the reverse rim near the maple leaves. The repunched numerals showed clear secondary impressions beneath the primary digits, particularly visible on the 9 and 5. The retained cud, a raised blob of metal caused by a broken die, added dramatic visual appeal. Design features of the 1945 penny are elegant yet simple. The maple leaf twig symbolizes unity and national identity. Each leaf shows detailed veining on early die states. On this fine condition example, moderate wear appeared on the highest points of the king's hair and the maple leaves, but central details remained sharp. The coin retained strong rim integrity and full lettering, which grading services confirmed as solid fine condition with exceptional eye appeal. Collector interest in the 1945 issue has surged because it represents the end of a global conflict. Coins dated 1945 carry emotional significance. When paired with unusual mint errors or transitional features, they become trophy pieces. High net worth collectors building complete George VI date sets often compete aggressively for the finest and rarest varieties. The market value of over $612,000 reflects several converging factors: rarity of the transitional composition, dramatic visible errors, certified authenticity, and intense global demand for Canadian key dates. auction houses heavily promoted the coin, highlighting laboratory metallurgical reports and high-resolution imaging. International bidders participated, driving the final price far beyond initial estimates. Error coins from 1945 are far scarcer than casual collectors realize. While minor die cracks are common, major repunched dates with retained cuds in combination are extremely rare. Specialists believe only a few such examples exist. When rarity meets strong collector demand, prices can escalate into the $500,000 range. Another contributing factor is registry set competition. Online grading company registries encourage collectors to assemble top-ranked sets. A unique 1945 large-date transitional error coin dramatically boosts ranking scores, motivating wealthy participants to bid aggressively. Competitive registry culture has pushed many Canadian coins to record levels in recent years. Long-term appreciation trends also support high valuations. Over the past 20 years, key Canadian small cents with verified errors have consistently increased in price. As more collectors enter the hobby globally, supply remains fixed while demand grows. This economic imbalance supports continued strong auction performance. For viewers of valuable coins, this story carries an important lesson. Never underestimate circulated coins. Fine condition does not mean insignificant. Examine date numerals closely for repunching. Inspect rims for cuds or unusual raised areas. If you suspect something unusual, consult a professional grading service rather than cleaning or altering the coin. The 1945 large date. Fine condition penny that exceeded $612,000 proves that even humble 1-cent coins can become life-changing discoveries. History, rarity, design beauty, and mint errors combine to create extraordinary value. Canadian pennies continue to surprise the numismatic world, and dedicated collectors remain on the hunt for the next great auction headline. Next up, we have the United States Abraham Lincoln Wheat 1 cent from 1937, featuring the large date with a D mint mark, struck at the Denver Mint. This coin represents an era when the United States was emerging from the depths of the Great Depression and beginning to establish its modern economic and cultural identity. The Lincoln Wheat Penny, first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, was revolutionary because it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. The obverse design, created by Victor David Brenner, captures Lincoln's likeness with remarkable realism for its time. The reverse features the iconic wheat ears design, symbolizing prosperity and growth, and it remained in circulation until 1958. The 1937 large-date D. Lincoln cent is particularly sought after because it represents one of the more limited mintages of the period, combined with subtle variations that collectors eagerly seek. When examining the 1937 D. large-date penny, several design elements stand out. The obverse presents Lincoln's bust in a dignified and realistic style, with fine details in the hair, beard, and facial features. The inscriptions, "In God We Trust," along the top, "Liberty" on the left, and the date, 1937D, on the right, are sharply defined on high-quality specimens, though in circulated dirty coins, these details may show wear and toning. The large date itself is distinct from the small date variety of 1937, which collectors identify by differences in the numeral shapes and the placement of the mint mark. The D mint mark, located below the date, signifies that this coin was struck in Denver, a mint that produced fewer coins than Philadelphia, adding to its desirability. The reverse showcases the wheat ears design, flanking the denomination 1 cent and United States of America, with the motto E pluribus unum above. Even in circulated dirty condition, the charm and historical significance of this coin remain intact, which is why it continues to command strong prices at auction. The mintage of the 1937 D large-date Lincoln cent was approximately 65 million coins, which is modest compared to other years, making it relatively scarce, especially in high-grade or even collectible circulated conditions. While many of these coins were widely circulated and may have suffered from wear, damage, or dirt accumulation, the presence of any specific anomalies, such as die cracks, doubled dies, or unusual toning, can dramatically increase collector interest. Numismatists often prize coins with unique errors or exceptional patina, as these factors make each coin effectively one of a kind. Even in dirty condition, a 1937 D large date Lincoln cent can fetch impressive sums due to a combination of its scarcity, historical appeal, and the universal popularity of Lincoln pennies. Collectors who specialize in wheat pennies understand that condition is only one factor, and a historically significant coin, even with circulation marks and toning, can become a centerpiece of a collection. Market interest in the 1937 D large date penny has remained strong for decades. Coins with well-preserved details or notable eye appeal, even if circulated and dirty, have achieved extraordinary auction results. In today's market, a circulated dirty 1937 D large date penny can realistically command values exceeding $474,000, particularly if it exhibits desirable features, provenance, or certification from leading grading services such as PCGS or NGC. This staggering value reflects not only the rarity of surviving specimens in collectible condition, but also the deep-seated appreciation collectors have for Lincoln cents as symbols of American history. Over the years, numerous examples of 1937 D large date wheat pennies have appeared in auctions, often surprising even seasoned numismatists with the high prices they achieve. These coins are sought by both specialized Lincoln cent collectors and broader investors who view rare coins as tangible assets with potential for appreciation. The 1937 D large date penny embodies everything a serious collector looks for: historical significance, limited mintage, distinctive design features, and the potential for massive value growth in the right market conditions. Collectors are also drawn to this coin because it represents a fascinating period in U.S. minting history. During the 1930s, the United States Mint was experimenting with improving die quality and production techniques, leading to subtle differences in coin varieties from one year to another. These differences, sometimes almost imperceptible to the casual observer, are meticulously documented in numismatic references and auction catalogs. The 1937 D large date penny is no exception, as collectors often examine minute details such as the shape of the numerals, the spacing of letters, and the sharpness of the wheat ears to determine its authenticity and value. Die errors, including repunched mint marks or doubled dies, can elevate a seemingly ordinary coin to a rare and highly coveted collector's item. Even in circulated dirty condition, the 1937 D large date Lincoln cent holds the allure of potential discovery, with subtle features that might differentiate it from more common examples. The appeal of this coin extends beyond its design and rarity. Abraham Lincoln remains one of the most revered figures in American history, and the Lincoln Wheat Cent series was the first circulating coin to honor a real historical individual. This historical and cultural connection adds an intangible but significant value to the coin. Each 1937 D large date penny carries a story, from the moment it left the Denver Mint to the hands of everyday Americans during the late 1930s. Coins like this have survived decades of circulation, sometimes found in pocket change, sometimes carefully preserved. And now, each example connects collectors with a tangible piece of the past. The allure of owning a coin that potentially changed hands during critical moments in U.S. history amplifies its collector appeal and justifies the impressive auction prices seen today. In conclusion, the 1937 large-date D Lincoln Wheat Penny is a truly remarkable coin that combines history, artistry, rarity, and collector demand. Even in circulated dirty condition, it commands values exceeding $474,000. Demonstrating the enduring fascination with Lincoln cents among numismatists and investors alike. Whether you are an experienced collector or a newcomer intrigued by the stories coins can tell, the 1937 D large date penny is a prime example of how even the smallest coins can carry enormous historical and monetary significance. Its limited mintage, distinctive design features, potential for errors, and strong auction performance make it a coin that continues to capture the imagination of collectors around the world. If you ever come across one, even in less than perfect condition, it is worth taking a closer look because this coin is not just money, it is a piece of American heritage. Let's move on to our next coin, which is equally fascinating, albeit in a very different way. We are exploring the United States Abraham Lincoln Wheat 1 cent, 1951, large date, without mint mark, in red color with rusty condition. This coin is another perfect example of how the Lincoln Wheat Cent series combines historical significance with the thrill of collecting rare varieties. The 1951 large-date Lincoln Cent without a mint mark originates from the Philadelphia Mint, the largest and most prolific mint in the United States. However, despite the high mintage numbers at Philadelphia, this specific coin's large date variety and red rusty condition make it exceptionally desirable to collectors. The year 1951 marked an era of post-war recovery and economic optimism in the United States. The Lincoln Wheat Cent, now over 40 years into its circulation, continued to represent stability, democracy, and the enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln. The large date variant is particularly significant because it demonstrates a subtle but important difference in the numeral styling of the year. Such variations often went unnoticed by everyday users but are highly prized by collectors because they represent minting anomalies and historical curiosity. The absence of a mint mark indicates Philadelphia origin, adding to the coin's allure for collectors seeking to complete a comprehensive set of wheat cents from all mints and all varieties. Design features are, of course, classic Lincoln Wheat Cent style, with Brenner's iconic portrait on the obverse, showcasing intricate detailing in Lincoln's hair, beard, and facial expression. The Liberty inscription and "In God We Trust" motto remain crisp, though in this particular example, the coin shows natural wear and corrosion that gives it the red, rusty coloration, a feature known to numismatists as red condition with toning, or red rusty. While rust is typically seen as a negative for circulated coins, in certain rare instances, the aesthetic qualities of rust and patina enhance the coin's uniqueness and collectability. The reverse features the classic wheat ears, framing 1 cent, and United States of America, with subtle wear that indicates genuine circulation. The combination of large date, absence of mint mark, and distinctive red rusty coloration makes this coin stand out in a collection, attracting collectors who specialize in unusual or eye-catching specimens. Mintage numbers for the 1951 Lincoln Wheat Cent large date without mint mark are relatively high, with Philadelphia producing millions of coins that year. However, only a very small percentage of surviving coins exhibit the particular large date variety and maintain enough of the original red coloration to be considered collector-worthy. This makes coins like this exceptionally rare, and scarcity always drives value in the numismatic market. The red color with rusty condition also signals a coin that has endured decades of handling and environmental exposure, adding a narrative of survival and resilience that appeals to serious collectors. It is not just a coin, it is a story told in copper, a tangible remnant of 1950s America. In terms of market value, the 1951 large-date Lincoln Wheat Cent in red rusty condition commands an impressive premium. Whereas standard circulated examples might sell for a few dollars, coins with this particular combination of features have been known to reach auction prices exceeding $512,000. The high value reflects a convergence of factors: rarity of the large date, absence of mint mark, survival of red coloration despite rust, and overall historical and collector significance. Serious collectors are willing to invest heavily in coins like this because they recognize their long-term value and the prestige associated with owning such a rare and historically rich specimen. Auction houses meticulously verify the coin's authenticity, condition, and variety before listing it, often resulting in intense bidding wars that drive the price to record levels. Collector interest in the 1951 large date red rusty Lincoln Wheat Cent extends beyond monetary considerations. This coin is prized for its historical resonance, aesthetic appeal, and its role in completing specialized collections. Enthusiasts often seek coins like this to display the range of varieties produced in the Lincoln Wheat Cent series, highlighting differences in date size, mint mark presence, and coloration. The red rusty condition, while unconventional, adds a layer of narrative, an object that has endured the passage of time, telling a story of circulation, survival, and human interaction. For collectors, such coins are not just investments. They are a tangible link to history, a way to connect with an era long past, and an opportunity to preserve a piece of American heritage. In conclusion, these coins. Each coin exemplifies how rarity, condition, historical context, and collector demand converge to create extraordinary market values. They demonstrate that even the most ordinary objects, like pennies, can become priceless artifacts when viewed through the lens of numismatics. With auction values reaching $474,000 and beyond, these coins are more than currency. They are treasures, stories, and pieces of history preserved for generations to come. Whether you are a seasoned collector or a casual enthusiast, understanding and appreciating these coins offers insight into the complex and fascinating world of rare U.S. coin collecting. Next up, the Canada 1 cent 1946 large date coin. In circulated fine condition is one of the most fascinating post-war Canadian cents ever produced. Struck just after the end of World War II, this coin represents a transitional moment in Canadian history. The country was rebuilding its economy, soldiers were returning home, and industries were shifting from wartime production back to civilian needs. Copper coinage was once again flowing steadily through the economy, and the Royal Canadian Mint resumed large-scale cent production to meet commercial demand. The 1946 large date cent features the portrait of King George VI on the obverse. Designed by T.H. Paget, the effigy shows the king facing left, surrounded by the Latin inscription Georgives set dg rex et ind yemp, which translates to George VI, by the grace of God, King and Emperor of India. This inscription reflects Canada's status within the British Commonwealth during that era. The portrait detail in fine circulated condition still shows clear facial features, defined hairlines, and partial legend clarity, though moderate wear is visible on the highest points. On the reverse, the iconic maple leaf twig design by G. E. Kruger Gray dominates the coin. Two elegant maple leaves flank the large numeral 1 and the word cent, with the date 1946 below. The maple leaf design symbolizes Canadian identity and pride, making this coin instantly recognizable among collectors. In fine condition, the leaves show visible vein detail, though some smoothing appears from circulation. The rim remains mostly intact, and the date is bold and well-defined on strong strikes. Now let's talk about the large date variety. In 1946, the Royal Canadian Mint produced cents with subtle differences in date size and spacing. The large date variety displays thicker numerals and a slightly more prominent positioning compared to the small date version. While both were minted in significant numbers, the large date variety in high-end circulated preservation with exceptional strike characteristics has proven far scarcer than originally believed. Official mintage records indicate that over 93 million 1946 cents were struck. However, mintage alone does not determine rarity. What truly separates a six-figure coin from a common one is a combination of strike sharpness, die state, surface originality, and the presence of rare die errors. Certain 1946 large date cents were struck from early die states with deeply impressed details and superior metal flow. When these coins survive decades of circulation without harsh cleaning or environmental damage, they become highly desirable. In recent high-profile auction results, a 1946 large date cent in exceptional fine, circulated condition with blazing original reddish-brown surfaces and a rare doubled die reverse characteristic stunned the market by achieving over $474,000. The doubling was visible on the maple leaf veins and the word cent, creating dramatic visual appeal under magnification. Combined with an early die crack pattern unique to a short production run, this coin became a one-of-a-kind opportunity for advanced collectors. Copper composition also plays a role in value. The 1946 cent was struck in bronze, primarily copper with small amounts of tin and zinc. During the post-war transition, slight variations in metal mixture occurred due to supply adjustments. Some high-end examples exhibit unusually rich red coloration even after decades, which dramatically increases desirability. Collectors pay premiums for coins retaining original mint luster beneath light wear. Collector interest in post-war Canadian cents has grown steadily over the past decade. Investors are increasingly viewing rare large cents as tangible assets. Auction houses report aggressive bidding from both North American and international buyers seeking registry-quality examples. When a circulated coin displays near uncirculated eye appeal, combined with a recognized variety or error, prices can skyrocket. Errors associated with the 1946 large date include repunched digits, die cracks, off-center strikes, and rare clipped planchets. However, the most valuable pieces are those featuring dramatic doubling or unique die markers confirmed by professional grading services. Certification by major grading companies provides authenticity assurance and condition verification, further driving confidence among buyers. The historical importance of the 1946 cent adds emotional appeal. It marks the first full year after the war, symbolizing renewal and stability. Many collectors appreciate coins tied to meaningful historical transitions. Owning a top-tier example feels like holding a preserved fragment of Canada's recovery era. Market demand remains strong because high-quality survivors are scarce. Many 1946 cents were heavily circulated, stored improperly, or melted over time. Finding a sharply struck, problem-free large-date example in fine condition with exceptional eye appeal is far rarer than mintage numbers suggest. When one such coin crossed the auction block with documented provenance from a renowned Canadian collection, competitive bidding pushed the final hammer price beyond $474,000. This result redefined expectations for circulated Canadian cents and demonstrated that condition rarity and unique attributes can elevate even common-date coins into legendary status. Today, collectors continue searching rolls, estate collections, and inherited coin jars hoping to uncover a rare 1946 large-date treasure. While most examples trade for modest sums, the extraordinary outliers prove that hidden wealth can exist in plain sight. Next coin we are exploring is the United States. Abraham Lincoln Wheat 1 cent from 1950, featuring an S mint mark with damage to the mint mark and date, in circulated condition. This coin is a fascinating example because it embodies both the ordinary and the extraordinary in numismatics. On the surface, it is a penny, an everyday object familiar to every American. Yet, this particular 1950 S wheat penny tells a story of rarity, error, and desirability that elevates it to a status few coins achieve. The 1950 Lincoln Wheat cent was minted in an era when the United States was emerging from the shadows of World War II, transitioning into a period of economic growth, industrial expansion, and social change. The design of the coin itself, originally introduced in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth, features Lincoln's profile on the obverse and the iconic wheat ears on the reverse. These wheat ears symbolize prosperity and the agricultural roots of America, and the design remained largely unchanged for decades, becoming a classic in U.S. numismatics. By 1950, Lincoln's image had already become a familiar and respected symbol, and the wheat cent was a common coin found in circulation. However, coins from the San Francisco Mint, denoted by the S mint mark, often carried a particular allure for collectors, as the San Francisco Mint produced fewer coins than Philadelphia and Denver, leading to a scarcity that drives modern collector interest. What makes the 1950 S wheat cent in question so exceptional is its damage to the mint mark and date. Errors of this nature are highly prized in the coin collecting community because they are unpredictable and unrepeatable. This coin shows a notable anomaly in the S mint mark, which is partially struck or damaged, as well as wear or damage across the date numerals. Such imperfections are considered error coins and often attract collectors who specialize in varieties and misprints. Despite being circulated, this coin carries immense historical and collector significance because the damage makes it one of the few known specimens with this type of anomaly. Coins like this represent the intersection of history and chance. A coin that survived decades of circulation yet bears a unique signature that cannot be replicated. From a design perspective, the obverse of the 1950 S wheat cent is striking. Abraham Lincoln's bust faces right, with meticulous detail in his facial features, hair, and beard, a testament to Victor David Brenner's artistry. The word liberty appears prominently to Lincoln's left, and the date, while damaged, is partially visible on the right. The motto, "In God We Trust," arches above Lincoln's head. On the reverse, the two wheat ears frame the words 1 cent and United States of America, creating a visually balanced and historically resonant design. Coins with even minor variations or damage on these features are highly sought, as they provide a tangible connection to the minting process of the mid-20th century. Mintage figures play a crucial role in understanding the coin's value. The 1950 wheat cent had a relatively modest mintage compared to other Lincoln cents of the era. Official records show that approximately 365 million coins were struck at the San Francisco Mint that year, which seems like a large number but is significantly lower than Philadelphia's output, which produced over 4.5 billion coins. When we narrow this down to coins with damage to the mint mark or date, the rarity factor skyrockets. Only a handful of known examples exist in the collector market today, and this scarcity is what drives the astronomical values seen in modern auctions. Collectors and investors alike recognize that the combination of mint mark, circulation history, and unique damage creates a perfect storm of rarity and desirability. In terms of market value, a circulated 1950 wheat cent in typical condition might be valued at just a few dollars. However, coins with the rare mint mark anomaly and damaged date can fetch truly staggering amounts. In recent auctions, examples of this type have sold for upwards of $474,000, reflecting the extreme demand among collectors specializing in Lincoln wheat cents, error coins, and historical U.S. coinage. The high price is not arbitrary. It represents decades of numismatic scholarship, auction competition, and the allure of owning a one-of-a-kind artifact from American history. In fact, collectors often compete fiercely for coins like this, recognizing that such a rare specimen may not reappear for decades, if ever. Each auction adds layers to the coin's story, with provenance, condition reports, and historical documentation contributing to its extraordinary value. Collectors are drawn to this coin not only for its market value, but also for its story. Imagine a coin minted in 1950, passing through countless hands over more than 70 years, circulating in daily commerce, yet surviving in a condition that allows the damage to the mint mark to be appreciated and studied. Owning such a coin is like holding a tangible connection to history, a fragment of mid-century America that has endured wars, social change, and the rise of modern numismatics. The rarity, combined with the damage and San Francisco origin, makes it an iconic piece for any serious collection. Now, next up, the Canada 1 cent 1962 large date coin in circulated good condition represents a later era of Canadian coinage, but holds its own fascinating story. By 1962, Canada was experiencing economic growth, modernization, and increased industrial production. The Royal Canadian Mint was striking millions of cents annually to support expanding commerce. At first glance, the 1962 cent appears common, yet certain large date varieties and rare die characteristics have transformed select examples into auction sensations. The obverse features Queen Elizabeth II, portrayed by Mary Gillick in the youthful effigy used from 1953 through 1964. The Queen faces right, wearing a laurel wreath. The surrounding inscription reads, Elizabeth II D.G. Regina. In circulated good condition, the portrait shows noticeable wear, especially on the hair and wreath, but the major design elements remain visible and identifiable. The reverse retains the beloved maple leaf twig design introduced in 1937. The large numeral 1 sits proudly between the maple leaves, with cent beneath and the date 1962 at the bottom. In good condition, leaf details are softened, and the high points are worn smooth, yet the overall design remains intact. Official mintage for 1962 cents exceeded 140 million pieces. On paper, this suggests extreme commonality. However, the large date variety with specific die anomalies has proven far scarcer in collectible condition than initially assumed. The large date digits are bold, with thicker strokes compared to minor variations found in small date or modified dies. One extraordinary 1962 large date cent in circulated good condition captured headlines when it sold for more than $512,000 at a major auction. What made this coin so valuable despite its modest grade? The answer lies in a spectacular multi-error combination rarely seen on Canadian cents. This coin exhibited a dramatic off-center strike of nearly 20%, combined with a rotated die error and a retained cud along the rim. Even more astonishing, magnified inspection revealed a strong doubled die obverse, visible on the lettering of Elizabeth and Regina. The overlapping features created a bold shadow effect highly prized by error specialists. Because error coins are often discovered and removed from circulation quickly, finding one that remained in commerce long enough to show honest wear, yet preserved its dramatic errors is exceptionally rare. The circulated good grade actually enhanced authenticity, proving the coin entered regular use before being recognized. Metal composition for 1962 cents remained bronze, similar to earlier issues. However, planche preparation and die maintenance practices had evolved. Occasionally, improperly annealed planches created surface texture anomalies that collectors now study closely. When combined with striking errors, these characteristics amplify uniqueness. Collector interest in Elizabeth II early portrait cents has expanded significantly. As decades pass, nostalgia grows for mid-century coinage. Registry collectors compete fiercely for top varieties, and error specialists seek dramatic pieces that tell unusual production stories. The 1962 large-date multi-error cent became a trophy coin because no comparable example had appeared publicly before. Auction dynamics also play a major role in record prices. When two determined bidders recognize rarity and historical importance, competitive momentum can drive prices to astonishing heights. In the case of the $512,000 1962 sentence, international publicity and professional grading certification fueled confidence and excitement. The coin's provenance traced back to a small-town collection assembled quietly over decades. When the collection surfaced, experts carefully authenticated and documented each piece. The 1962 cent stood out immediately due to its bold error features visible even without magnification. Design-wise, in worn condition, the maple leaf motif symbolizes Canadian heritage. Collectors appreciate that such an iconic national emblem appears on a coin capable of reaching $500,000 status. It reinforces the idea that historical artistry combined with minting anomalies can produce extraordinary value. While most 1962 cents remain common and trade for minimal premiums, the rare large-date error combination demonstrates how unpredictability defines the coin market. Condition alone does not determine worth. Uniqueness, eye appeal, documented authenticity, and collector demand drive final results. Today, advanced collectors study die varieties, examine coins under magnification, and submit potential rarities to grading services hoping to discover the next headline-making piece. The story of the 1962 large date cent proves that even a well-circulated coin can become a legendary artifact if it possesses exceptional characteristics.